guys, here I am with my bucket for the chickens and for the goose, trying to find wisps of grass here. Here's my doggy, watchful eye, just having a break. I want to share a little story. It's winter again. I just met my my neighbor. I love my neighbor. He is an absolute sweetie. We moved here 16 years ago, and let's call him Billy, right? It's not his name, but let's call him Billy. And we got to know all the neighbors. My neighbors to the left, really sweet people, typical old Irish, you know. Came instantly, said hello, who are you, trying to get to know us. I ended up looking after their elderly mother for 3-4 years. And Billy had a rough life. You know, not the brightest toolkit in the world, but full of heart, you know. Really nice with animals. Helped us within, I don't know, what was it, 3 months or so. I had my horse stuck in the bog out yonder somewhere in a 9-foot ditch, which he jumped in sideways and couldn't get his feet on the ground, and Billy came along with his tractor after I rang the police and I rang the fire brigade, and nobody would come and help, and he came with his little tuk-tuk tractor and helped pull him out, right? Billy used to drink heavily because he saw his uncle who had hung himself in the barn next door, and it affected him very, very badly. And I used to feed him coffee and try and make him, you know, sober him up and talk to him. So I've always chatted with Billy, you know, because you could sense, you just knew Billy was a good soul, right? And something strange happened with that. Before I get to the gist of where I'm going with this story, because we just talked about the hay situation where Billy told me, you know, it's shocking. There's just, you know, it's shocking. There's no hay. You can't get any hay. Here's no hay. There's no hay. You mentioned all the places, and you know, it's 50 euros for a bale of hay now. And I said to him, look, Billy, when is there ever hay here in Ireland? You know, when? I've been here 16 years. When has there ever been hay in winter in Ireland? It's always the same story, right? I said, this doesn't happen in England. I don't know what they're doing differently over there. And I said as well to him, what's happening here is greed, you know, and the greed comes because everybody is squeezed and pushed so much. But, you know, I asked him, how much is it to make a bale of hay, say, right? In the summer months, let's say, look, this is a few years back. I don't know what it is now, but say it's about 13 euros to make a bale of hay, right? The big one, in materials, in you know, getting the contractors out there and blah blah blah. Then they sell it for, you know, used to be 20, then 25, now it's 35, you know, 40. Obviously the diesel has become more expensive, but, you know, not to that extent. Let's face it, right? There's a lot of greed involved here. But say you had, you know, back 5 years ago, you made a bale of hay for 12 euros in the summertime, sold them for, I don't know, 19, what have you. Come the winter months, and, you know, some people are starting to struggle. Price shoots up galore, yeah, and it's just greed. And then what do they achieve? They achieve to hurt one another, right? So instead of, you know, sticking together, the farming community, and not shafting each other over for a few bucks, what happens is, you know, some farmer who can't afford it, some farmer who can't find it, they lose their animals, they die in the winter. Right, it's happened. There was people here who committed suicide in the winters because they couldn't feed their cows or their sheep or what have you, right? So it's just sheer greed to then ask, because Jimmy told me this was years and years ago, make a bale of straw for, I don't know, 11 euros and then sell them for 70. Oh shit, that's what he told me. So what is that, right? That is the farming community wrecking each other, right? Their own worst enemy, and then they sit there and complain. Anyway, that was just by the way. That was what we meet each other and then we have these chats about how shit it is here in winter. Because it's shit. It absolutely sucks here in winter. Like, I mean, it's the same everywhere in Northern Europe, isn't it? Like, there's just no food to be found. And these city people, I don't know, they think the fields are sprinkled with fairy dust or something, No, it's fucking hard. So I had to ring somebody who I used to buy hay off, who gave me a number eventually, because he didn't make any small bales, so I can only handle the small bales, because I don't want to be doing all the tractor and trailer shit. And so he sent me to this old farmer who had saved, I don't know, 30 small bales to feed his suckler cattle in the springtime, and he could spare me 5, which sees me through for a while at least, but really sweet, to give me 5 of his saved. And it's always the older folk who do that. And he gave it me for what he sold it off the field, right? Same price. It's a lot of the younger folk who want to then profit off somebody else's misery. It's starting to rain again. Funny thing that happened was the house that Jimmy's uncle had killed himself hung himself in the barn. Some summers ago, I actually did a little ceremony in there. I brought some candles and some cake, and I sat there, and I had some joss sticks that I lit the candle, and I said some prayers, and I spoke to his uncle, I bemoaned his fate, and I shed a few tears. And funnily enough, I haven't seen Billy, I've just said his name, fuck it. I've not seen him drunk since then. And sometimes I wonder whether some of what I did there did something in some very sort of strange, miraculous way. I don't know. But it always strikes me. And when I was crying so much after my husband died, one day Billy came with a bottle of perfume, stood at the house door sheepishly, reached into his jacket pocket and, pushed the perfume into my hand, saying, "Please don't cry anymore." And that made me cry even more. I didn't want to take it at first, but I did. He helped me bury my dog as well, straight away, in the driving rain. Such a sweet soul. Such an awful sweet soul, Always good to his cattle. Always good to the animals. And the animals know. I just wanted to share that little story with you. And the silliness of sometimes what goes on when people, instead of holding together during the bad times, when they start shafting one another, just because they get shafted from the fuckers above, which is what makes me hate the fuckers above. Really, because what they do is to turn the people below into fuckers below. Made in their image, eh?